Alright, hello and welcome. Tonight we're going to be playing The Forgotten City, and as it says here, do be warned that we're going to be playing through the main story, and therefore there's going to be story spoilers, so if you want to play this game, it might be a good idea to play through it before watching my streams. Or if you're not interested, but are curious to see how things go, well, by all means. Yeah, as we can see here, there's a spoiler warning here, and I do want to respect it. But now I would like to jump right into it. Message from the developers. Created by a core team of 3 people over 4 years. Your support allows us to continue 11. We're deeply grateful. This is a mystery adventure with multiple endings. It rewards thoughtful conversation and exploration, not brute force. The fate of the city is in your hands. Present day. Dang, already feeling nostalgic.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Body type? More broad, more thin. I guess it doesn't matter too much. That's okay. Here. I'll just go with the default. I think it matters too
Well,
much.
it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Let's see here. I was searching for ancient ruins. Archaeologist, your years of studying history give you occasional insights into the ancient world. Covert mission. You have a military-issued firearm, but only 10 bullets. You have to use them wisely, as there's no possible way to get more. Oh dear. Oh, fugitive. Your time on the run from the authorities mean you're quick on the feet. You're faster when sprinting. I barely remember anything. Your recent head trauma has increased your pain threshold, making you 50% harder to take down. I think this one would be most conductive to what we're going to go here, because exploration is going to be the name of the game.
You're an archaeologist? Then you'll definitely want
Guess
to
I should
do
have been
this.
Dr.
I
Jones.
don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped, or injured, or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him. So I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting.
Sounds like he knew something might be dangerous in there.
I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him. If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
Sure, but mind if I ask him questions first?
Of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. I just... What do you want to know?
If anyone out there is watching and thinking, this looks an awful lot like the kind of character stuff used in character models used in Skyrim, from what I've read, this game actually originally started as a Skyrim mod, but then the developers managed to get some resources to make into its own game, and thus they're now able to sell it completely free of the original license. And that's always pretty neat, seeing a little passion project from people turn out into something bigger. Alright. Alright, first things first,
You really
where are
don't
we?
remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber.
That's the Tiber River, that's in... Okay, so that's in Italy. Yeah. Well, don't worry, I've actually been to Italy before, so I should be able to find my way around. No, I won't, but... I should be able to figure something out. Right? What's your story
Oh,
since I've
there's
been
not
hearing about
much
the
to
others?
tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
Oh man, things are getting way too real now.
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Well, I'd like to know, especially if I'm going to be helping you.
Alright, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Okay, well, thank you for saving my life. Oh, Karen means to really ruin that name, huh? I do want to say this one, but I have the feeling that's precisely why she's pretty upset about it, so let's go with the main
You're
thing.
welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
I'm sure she appreciated that to, at the very least. But yeah. I am very glad the game would at least allow me to be blunt about that, but yeah, I figure thanking her for her help would be a lot more, would be a lot better for her making some early rapport here. Now, who's Al
He's the guy who
exactly?
washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
Maybe, I guess since if I had known we'd be running to a guy named Al, I should have named myself Din. Get it? Aladdin? Okay, that was horrible, I'm sorry. Alright, first things first, what can you tell me about these
Not
ruins?
much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
Since she doesn't know too much about Al and only knew him for a short period, but he said not to have her follow him under any circumstances, I think he might have known a bit more about these ruins than I think he knows more about these ruins than he ended up telling her, which is a bit bad for us since she can't tell us. So, yeah, I'm definitely getting the vibes that he knew it was highly likely he wouldn't be coming back, and that's why he made sure not to have her follow him no matter what, because the moment anything happens... We tried calling all this trouble.
An idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
So it's pretty isolated out here. Alright, well that's all the questions I
Great.
had.
So you're ready to go look for Al?
Alright, I'm in.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
Flashlight. Heavy-duty, battery-powered flashlight. New main goal.
Back already? What's up? Thanks again. And please, hurry.
It's back. It's a wooden rowboat. Karen must have used this to rescue me from the river. Sleeping bag.
The
I was
ruins
asleep
are just beyond those columns.
not long ago. It
Please,
smells of campfire
hurry.
smoke and sweat. I assume that's her meal. It would be rude to take it. Oh, use the... Oh, I see. Enter the ruins. Oh, here it is. I imagine most already know this by now, but ancient Roman architecture that was really cool was because it was all stone colored and all that. It actually turns out that ancient Romans like to put statues, calm stuff in flamboyant colors, but because of the sheer passage of time, those colors all washed off, and so it turns out people were mistaken, assuming they were intended to always have the stony look. It just something, which is kind of funny, because some modern buildings, like the U.S. White House, were all designed with ancient Roman pale stuff in those pale stone pillars in mind with its architecture, only to find out, I guess, no, the ancient Romans didn't build it that way, so I guess it's technically an original design. How funny. Rusted metal torch must have been lit by Al. I must be going the right way. I can't imagine too many other people would be here. Okay, yeah, the fact that torches here are actually lit in ancient ruins means it has to have been... let me just check here to see how far I can run. Because I want to see if this is one of those games with a reasonable... with infinite sprint, a reasonable sprint, or, like, you can run 10 seconds and then you're out of breath. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a sprint meter, so that's good. Basically means I can take my time here. There are definitely invisible walls to keep me from going here. Anywhere. Alright, Al, what are you trying to tell me? Backpack. Full of worn hiking clothes and value. Nothing left here, but it seems strange Al left it behind. Oh, I can examine an item by rotating. Interesting. Well, this is definitely a backpack full of supplies. Definitely something you want. I guess I'm not allowed to take it? Hey, what's this? Was this always here? Did it just show up when I wasn't looking?
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city, hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? The people have survived down there, against the odds. It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation.
We should probably tell her. Or a warning. Invitation or a warning?
Alworth.
Alworth. That sounds like some sort of pun. Or some kind of meaningful name. Possibly even a pseudonym if we're honest. But let's go tell her what we found real quick.
The ruins are just beyond those columns. Please, back already? What's up?
Found a note saying you'd gone searching for an
Sounds
ancient
like you're on the
underground
right
city.
track then. Maybe see if you can find the entrance? Thanks again. And please...
I'm glad it does at least allow me the ability to skip. Alright. I figured we'd at least let her know. That way if we vanish and never come back, she now knows that we vanished forever into the ancient city. The Golden Carafe. Latin plaque inspect. Oh my, I guess I should have read those before going in here. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but I have the strange feeling we can't go back the way we came. Do I have an... Okay, yeah, I do have an oxygen meter. Honestly, it doesn't seem too bad. It's not one of those that empties within, like, 2 seconds. Then again, this isn't an open world game where that's really a concern. Who are you? Oh my, there's a lot of statues. A young Roman woman in a pose of lamentation. These statues are in very pristine condition, which means that this place has to have had visitors recently. Then again, the fact there's so much damage here means there hasn't been much maintenance, unless they have some guy who's coming to polish the statues and figures anything else is beyond my The many shall suffer for the sins of one. The one. Roman gladiator mid-stride. What could have made a gladiator flee? Seeing as how most gladiators were slaves, if I remember right, that... Oh, I didn't mean to knock him down. Loading? A young Roman woman looked like she was begging for her life. I'm starting to think these may not be proper statues as in someone carved / sculpted them, but rather, I have the feeling we may have ourselves a Medusa situation. Well, Medusa-esque situation. You know what I mean, right? Although I guess since they're appear to be made out of gold, it would be more accurate to call this a King Midas situation. And, you know? F5 to quick save and quick load. F9 to quick load. To find answers, mostly. A Roman military commander attempting to scramble from something. Yeah, the fact every single one of these poses appear to be in some form of duress. Yeah, I think we're dealing with the Medusa / King Midas situation, and I don't like it. A Roman legionary in a state of terror. Yeah, like I said, all of them seem to be in some sort of state of high stress. Alright, let's take a look here then. Yeah, once again, look of complete and utter terror. A Roman woman appears to be praying for a help that never came. So we have ourselves King Midas here. Follow Al's trail. Yeah, there's an invisible wall here, but take.
Whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse. She'll suffer the same fate I did.
What do you mean?
I've spent a lifetime in this place. Going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. And here there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past.
Past?
I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now. And find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
Main gold statue. Golden statue of an old man wearing golden clothing. This must be Al, but how is this possible? Okay, so yeah, there's a King Midas situation, but it seems that whoever dies simply turns to gold, period. So either death, period, turns you to gold in this place, or something stops by and turns them. Okay, so I was correct that everyone in a state of duress... Well, the good news is we solved the mystery of what happened to Al. Bad news is we may not be able to tell anyone. Well, at least find the doorway to the past. Roman man on knees as if begging for mercy. So close now. A doorway? Must be the doorway in the past, he said. Tab to check quest journal and inventory at any time. Good advice. Step through the doorway into the past. Ah. Everything that was in ruins is good again. Main goal completed. Forget me not.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
Do you speak English?
What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange.
So we are Roman.
Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you, and what were you doing in the shrine?
Shrine of Proserpina.
You know, agricultural goddess of springtime? You're not from around here, are you? And you've just done it again. You're a sly one, aren't you? One more time. Who are you, and what were you doing in that shrine?
Saying I've come to the future at an ancient Rome is probably not the smartest idea, so let's say we got
Is that
lost.
right. Well, just make sure you don't get lost in any other sacred places you're not supposed to be.
Yes, it
Can't
was
have
very
you
embarrassing.
disrespecting the gods by accident, can we now? But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
Seems rather straightforward. What are your laws exactly?
Laws? Law. There's just one, the Golden Rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in.
Sure, that'd
So
be
then,
appreciated.
You coming?
Alright, lead the way.
When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her if I were you. She's, it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the Forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that?
Sounds like a pretty standard politician to me.
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy.
Gracious and...
Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
Sure, what's this
I
about?
expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today.
Alright,
Follow
lead the
me.
way.
And the only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong.
Oh, another one
One
fresh
of
out
us
of the
in
baths,
10
I take
would
it.
die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation.
Ouch.
That seems like rough justice to you. you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Row is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
Hello, Cavey. Yeah, welcome to stream. Stranger.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
What's your story?
Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
I guess you could say I'm not from
Really?
around here.
I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation?
What do you think of the
You know,
Golden Row?
some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing god who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent god would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
So that's one of the three. Yeah, that's a pretty queer.
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
At least we know blasphemy doesn't
I'm
break the Golden
telling
Rule.
you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
I suppose we'll find out sooner or later.
I suppose we will.
I suppose no way out here.
What is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Like, is there any way I can
I
help?
don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the Harpies?
Okay, first suspect in this crime, my Valentine. Yeah, I was about to say, mouth breather seems like a very interesting choice of insults. Alright, first things first, when did you last see her?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
Well, the most positive idea, the most charitable way this could be could lead to an outcome is that she ran off with her lover and they eloped. The most depressing possible outcome to this would be if the most depressing outcome to this would be if she was tricked somewhere by her supposed lover and her supposed lover murdered her.
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
Strange. Why is that?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
Assuming that the sisters were close, that's, Well, she does look surprisingly relaxed about it. I'm sure that's largely to keep up her appearances. This is the Roman magistrate we're talking after all, so they definitely need to keep it. Is it possible that her lover was involved?
But it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience.
Or if he's one of the two other people who's gone.
Whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
Oh, so you don't think he's one of the 3 people that vanished? Interestingly. Why are names so similar, by the way?
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
That makes sense here. And yeah, I don't need to ask because I know she's just doing it to keep her.
Help me find her.
I'll do it.
Oh, thank you. You should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Maybe you'll find something the rest of us missed.
I'll see what I can do.
I'd appreciate it.
Let's talk about
Of
Scintilla a bit,
course.
real quick.
What have you discovered?
Yes, please do. Alright, the magistrate's up the stairs, so let's talk to him to learn the rules of this place exactly. Yeah, back then, if I remember right, marrying off daughters was kind of like a way to force people into a, signing a peace treaty. Especially for these political leaders, because there's a, oh, you married my daughter, there's no reason for us to be going to war is a pretty good reason, because it's, not to mention, if, like, I'm going to invade your father's land, and of course she's gonna be all, no, don't. Doesn't appear to be anything major here. Richmond's magistrate, here we are.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name? A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning.
So he knows that I'm a...
We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
It's beautiful.
More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Now this is rather interesting. While the stream's really laggy and buffering, oh dear. Yeah, I was getting a, oh dear, it looks like I was getting a bit of frame drops a bit ago. Looks like it's smoothed out now. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep a closer eye on that, see if anything else happens. Luckily, this is this game should be a bit more focused on story, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But it is loosely based off Skyrim, so there might be some clunky combat. Although funny that, I should probably point out I've actually played every Elder Scrolls game except Skyrim at this point. Basically, with the short story is I ended up getting the Anthology Edition, played the whole thing from Arena to Oblivion, and it took, as you could expect, that took basically an entire year all by itself. But I never got around to Skyrim. Probably should one day, if only because of its legacy. Tempted to say yes, because I can think of a few cities, like Amaro. But the problem with that is every single city that has seemed completely pristine and flawless on the surface, every seeming utopia, they always have something horrible boiling underneath. However, I don't think we should be getting argumentative at any, or philosophical with him.
Nor could I, until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying.
That's the...
If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all
Oh
to
wow, I was even more on the nose than I thought.
We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now?
Sounds like
Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
What counts as sin
An
here?
intelligent question.
That's the first and
There was
foremost.
a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide?
Yeah, those are very much up for
As
debate.
magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before.
Well, at the very least, we can confirm blasphemy doesn't
And we
count.
must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I don't think he even realized. I don't know, what's legal isn't always moral, and many could be considered. I think this is an interesting. What's legal isn't always moral, and some laws and customs could be considered barbaric where I'm from. And of course, vice versa. This seems straightforward, but let's see how he feels about this.
Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers.
Oh, I see. He doesn't realize the Roman Empire fell.
Laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on.
Very good, easy
No
basics
other
to follow.
civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
It's interesting. Don't your laws apply
Of
to
course. What else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well.
Oh, this has allowed me a lot of interesting things I wouldn't have before. I guess I should ask these here. Don't you people watch blood sports for
On
entertainment?
occasion. But our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm.
Don't women have fewer rights?
Of course, but with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands.
That is an argument for that still exists to this day. Don't you persecute Christianity?
You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome last year?
Last year, wait.
It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that.
Okay, this actually tells a lot more than he's actually. This actually tells us quite a bit, despite being a single thing. So if the great fire that happened in Rome was only a year back, first of all, this gives us kind of idea of where we were teleported to, and what kind of things. Okay, so that explains it. As far as he's concerned, they're still in the middle of the height of the Roman Empire. This is long before the rise of the Goths and Vandal, or generally Rome just getting too large to properly sustain itself, because remember, ancient Rome was before the concept of economics was properly invented, which means they couldn't really sustain themselves. They became too large. And that's why eventually they had to break up into the Western and Eastern Roman Empire. And even then, the Western Roman Empire ended up falling a bit after. The Western Roman Empire in Constantinople lasted a bit longer, but that's generally considered a bit different by historians. That's why sometimes it's referred to as the Byzantine Empire. They themselves would have, if I remember right, they themselves would still have considered themselves Romans. or members of the Roman Empire, but yeah. Okay, so he's fully aware. Don't you practice collective punishment here?
Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion.
Well, we'll just go.
I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies.
I don't want to get on his bad sides too early, but I'm glad I decided to. I am glad I put up a bit of resistance just to try and get him to explain their customs here. First things first, what did you mean when you said Proserpina?
In my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time.
Oh, he knows. I suppose we have no reason to lie right now.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us?
If he knows we're already time traveling, there's no need to lie. That's my reason for being honest. Why the heck does the stream keep buffering? Oh, the frame drops hasn't changed. It could be an issue with Twitch itself. Alpha? But I'm looking at my recording device here, and it says I haven't had any more frame drops since the last time when I checked. So it doesn't look like it's on my end, but I'll keep, like I said, I'm going to keep a closer eye on the frame drops and see if it happens again. If it keeps happening, I can call a bit short. You'd all been turned to golden statues.
I have imagined it, our downfall 1,000 times, but it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if we can trust Magistrate Sentius entirely. For the most part, we don't really have much reason to lie to him right now, or at least that's since he already knows we're from the future. In fact, he might even be aware that Rome might fall eventually, because at the end of the day, nothing lasts forever, but that wouldn't change the fact that Rome was one of the longer-lasting empires in history after all this time. And its effects and its influence on modern culture is still felt to this very day. So in that sense, you could say that Rome never truly fell, if you want to be all poetic or philosophical about it. How does the ritual work exactly?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
I did see human remains in the temple.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best, that's for sure.
I suppose that's all I can ask for.
I see no reason not to do what I can. It's rather interesting that even he isn't 100% sure of what counts as sin, so he just tries to keep things as strict as possible. I guess it's kind of understandable, but yeah, a lot of the arguments he makes for the old ways are ones that would have existed back then, some of which, as I mentioned, still matter today. Of course, I would still call bunk on quite a few of those, but to do that would go a bit out of scope of this stream, so I don't want to go too deep into that. Why can't you investigate?
I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal.
That makes sense.
As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any suspects so
You
far?
ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore. What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I do need to ask the most obvious question. How do I know you're not the one responsible?
Why would you suspect me? I've just told you. I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people?
Fair point. I just have to start somewhere.
I think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
Do you think this could be related to Sintel's disappearance?
So you know about that already. It's a devastating loss, of course, but that was over 3 weeks ago, and whatever happened to her, it didn't break the Golden Rule, so I don't think it's connected with our imminent demise. Still, if you happen to find her and return her to me,
The internet's
I
telling
would
the Switch could be buffering.
eternally grateful.
Because the stream's updating games in the background. Looky here, it certainly is upgrading games. Oh! Well, that would certainly explain it, wouldn't it? Yeah, I had that problem a while ago as well when I was watching a stream that I like. I ended up having to turn off auto update for Steam. Now I just upgrade them all normally. Alright. Alright, come on.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
Makes sense why he'd put them at the top of his suspect list. Although granted, if someone truly is planning to break the Golden Rule, then it's entirely possible that the whole reason he kidnapped his daughter was to hold her for several weeks and then execute her there. And the fact that her older sister insists that her husband must still be in the city. Will I do this? Will help me get back to my own
If I
time?
understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself.
Oh, it should take care of itself.
Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Alright, that makes sense. It's a bit complicated, but these questions will all be available later. Okay.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule?
Alright, I'm in.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
I'll get started.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Alright, I'll get right on it. Alright. Just be told I don't think he's the one responsible, but I figure I should probably ask him just to cover my bases, even if it's just to hear him say, well, of course not. If I wanted to break the Golden Rule, why would I go through a ritual to undo it all? Alright. Now, for the most part, I'm going into this game mostly completely fresh. I do know the core concepts of the game, one of which we're going to be finding out very shortly, but in the general sense, I do not know much of anything about the story or where it's going, so this will be interesting. The fact there's all these other golden statues means it's entirely possible there's previous people who lived here and broke the golden rule, and their entire society was turned to golden statues. We'll try to guide you. Interesting, so this Whisper is trying to help us. Interesting, so I thought the Whisper was maybe the people from the statues. And yeah, I guess these are from other attempts at this civilization. Stranger. Excuse me.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Who are you and what's your story?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris. Babylon province.
Ooh, Babylonian.
But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
So he was a Babylonian and ended up coming here and decided to join the Romans.
Same way as everyone else.
How'd you end up here? Same as everyone else. Am I still wearing legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Makes sense. Why don't I have a weapon?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm.
Oh my.
Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Don't worry, I can probably figure out Kung Fu and teach you that.
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
What are you dealing with?
None of your business. In Troiti ipsum conventula.
Alright.
If we have to.
If we have to. What do you think of the Golden Rule?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
I am with you there, man. I am absolutely with there. I know that. Oh, crap. I know that feeling.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Ah, then you know what I'm talking about.
All these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Well, we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived.
Okay, so that does confirm it.
Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
What do you think's coming specifically?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
Alright, so what we've learned from this conversation... You know what? I think you might be right.
Of course I am.
By the way, who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus. Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
And then I can do...
No.
Alright. You know, way out of here?
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation?
Okay, that's fair.
Whatever.
I'll be going now. What? I don't think Rufius is involved, but I think he... I think that conversation is important for 2 reasons. One, it confirms that everyone who lives here is under the Golden Rule. Someone breaks it, then more people come. The fact he was originally a Babylonian person before he came here also means that people can come from all walks of life and become whatever or culture is present at the time, I imagine. In this case, Roman. And 2, this gives Brand Sense the idea that some of these statues may not actually be statues. They may be someone posing as a statue. This is very good to keep in mind. Oh my. Grisha. Statue of Apollo. Large Greek statue of Apollo. Roman Greek god of disease and healing, among other things. Medical tools. Collection of barbaric-looking medical implements, including forceps and shears. Yeah, medical treatment wasn't exactly, Alright, Lucretia. This is the person we need to speak to next.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient. And a dear friend. Julia. She was a good woman.
That must be the corpse on the side. What happened?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing, and now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
That's going to be an important clue, I think. Alright, so whoever it is, they apparently set up where it wasn't a golden rule. It's entirely possible that they swapped her flowers with... Or... Why did I think flowers? I was thinking maybe they replaced some of her plants with something poisoned, and because she didn't notice that didn't count as breaking the golden rule, perhaps? Either way, the person in the shop clearly made sure it couldn't be healed that easily. Okay, see if these no longer updating. No buffering tickets, probably problem. Well, that's good.
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututo and scratching his eyes out.
Alright, be careful, it's dangerous.
Then you'd better get me that silphium quickly, hadn't you?
I guess you're right.
Feeling alright?
What's your story?
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared.
So that's the second person who vanished.
Out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
How'd you end up here?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked, and turned into an awful philanderer.
Well, that's
I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
But you hear that?
It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it.
That makes sense. Silphinium was also an aphrodisiac drug during Roman times. Therefore, in there's funny because in Romanian it basically means ones whose profession is to go at it. Oh my. Well, I do know they've already been using a lot of Latin words here and there. Why are we gonna have a shrine exactly?
This shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease, but the
hey, it means Ephor in Latin as well. Oh, I figured something like that.
Who can undo it? So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
I guess Apollo can can disease with one hand and heal with the other. It's all a matter of, tell me more about Navia.
She used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about.
Yeah, those are what I would have speculated about.
I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem. A real thorn in the paw situation.
Alright,
One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed, and he's in constant pain.
Who's it?
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Navia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
I'll see what I can do.
I suppose.
Yeah, I guess when that line where she was basically calling a mother effer. Honestly, with the way she was describing, if true, then yeah, I guess that's not. What do you think about the golden rule?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it?
Decius.
Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
Alright, so we'll have to remember that name. But the good news is, between Lucretia's testimony and Rufius's testimony, we now have reason to believe that the statues may not be as lifeless as we originally thought. Odds are they are from a previous version of the city where they did perform a sin and they ended up getting turned to gold, but it's possible there may be more to the golden rule. So it's entirely possible that, for example, if the current people turn into gold, the old people will restore, or something like that. No mother effer is, oh, she just said generic effer rather than mate urum. Right. Okay, that makes sense. And I must say, Kavy, you are quite knowledgeable about Latin cursing. Though I suppose you could have looked it up as well. Hard to say. Let's talk about Yulia.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Do you think she was poisoned or it was self-inflicted?
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
But if that's the case, shouldn't they have automatically set off, or are the gods just asleep at the switch, like the magistrate's daughter suggested? Just Google Translate it? Alright. That makes sense. We'll just be aware Google Translate can be a bit iffy at times. But it's good to, you know what do you know what kind of poison she had?
Hemlock, I believe.
Hemlock, I'll have to remember that. Well, assuming it's self-inflicted, do you think there's a reason she'd want to?
I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolus' villa, and they are quite secretive.
Alright, so
Gladly.
Gladly. No way out
I
here.
wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
Guess I should have brought a first aid kit with me.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
Search. No items. The fact this was in this was treated as a hospital even before we got here means that these buildings have been around a while as well. Examine. Loaf of bread, circular, designed to be pulled apart into wedges, appears freely available for anyone who wants it. I'm gonna leave it behind because I don't know what counts as stealing or not. Roman recipe for bread. A simple recipe for baking bread. Pinch of yeast, pinch of salt, 2.5 cups of water, pound of flour. Bread recipe. Let's see. Appears to be freely available to anyone who wants it. Let's see if it lets... Okay, so I can take it and it's not breaking a law because it's public use. I guess that makes sense. The magistrate did say anyone who's hungry is allowed to take what they need. Locked, eh? Guess I need to learn lockpicking.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
My nation doesn't exist yet. Honestly, this could apply for quite a few. In fact, you could even technically say this even if you were a native of Italy, because the modern country of Italy is actually very recent. 1870, I believe, is when it went from a bunch of city-states to the proper United Kingdom of Italy that it is now. So it's actually a very young nation, despite having history. Or when pounds libras are similar to American pounds, a libra is about 0.97 pounds. Did Latin 8th grade, but didn't learn bad words. Well, that makes sense. I'm from the edge of the known world.
You are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
Well, let's learn about your story.
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Ah, why set up a tailor shop here?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, more or less.
I tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Oh, that's fair enough. How'd you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and droning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of
Oh, that's why I can't remember. He was drunk off his ass.
Visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but
oh wow.
that compares to this.
Okay, yeah, so he knows how to party.
People screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down the
Indeed.
Tiber?
I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. Anything you like.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
I guess that would make sense. The Greek god... Shame on you, Georgius. This guy seems like barking naked. Shame on you, Georgius. Sometimes you go a little nuts. Yeah, if I remember right, when ancient Rome managed to take over the Greek area, they basically took the Greek pantheon and converted the Roman pantheon. So Zeus and Jupiter are the same person, just revered either in the Roman customs for Jupiter or the Greek ones for Zeus. But they're the same person.
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act, lest they have no worshippers left.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
Yeah, the Greek gods are very much a case of, how can I put this? Actually, I don't even... It's not like it's not that I'm trying to find a tactful way to put it. I'm just not sure how to describe it. Basically, they're very whimsical folk. Anything we can do about it?
To survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Easier said than done.
Regrettably, I think you are correct, my friend.
Yeah.
For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before.
The voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Georgius, have you ever heard of Zagreus and his incredible fishing techniques? Yeah, I was tempted to make a Hades reference right there, but I figured I should probably hold back on that. Do you know wait here?
Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Sorry, there's something wrong.
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
Last attempt?
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me.
Oh, this is gonna be bad, isn't it? Well, it's not as if I'm going anywhere.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
We could also Skyrim horse our way up there, right? Oh, why hasn't anyone done that yet?
I am getting to that. There was an attempt, made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway,
oh, wow.
They heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends.
So it counts as breaking the golden rules.
That to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place. And so I say, it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
Alright, got it. Thanks. By the way, who are you going to vote for in the election?
That is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Nothing I could do to change that?
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
Alright.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Interesting. I guess Rufius is just on patrol for today. Yeah, these statues are definitely talking to me. And to an extent, they're even trying to help me, it almost looks like. It seems every group that comes here is in some way Roman, but I guess with Rome lasting a few hundred years, it would make sense that would be a dominant for this area. But this game came out in 2021, so assuming 2021 is the year in which we fell into the hole and everything was in ruins, that would mean there was no civilization that fell in there ever since. So when Rome fell, no one else could somehow.
Hey, Virgil.
Decius.
How much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Decius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
Know why?
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
So this is Decius. Excuse me.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Decius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
By the way, what's your story?
I mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale.
Sure, let's hear it.
All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome.
Quote-unquote liberated.
Sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing through a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
I'm pretty sure he chose the car, but let's see.
Weren't you listening? All my valuables or the girl?
As I expected.
I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
I think I see where this is going.
I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it really does sound like he got what he deserves, but let's not rock the boat just yet.
But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you, there must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
Do you know a way out of
I'm
here?
afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking.
Thanks, I'll keep an eye out for them. What do you think of the Golden Rule?
Terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow.
This is not going to end well.
This city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk.
Has the magistrate banned weapons?
Well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet.
Not sure if I should get you a bow.
No need to decide on anything yet. Just sleep on it, yeah?
You're gonna vote for
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
I'd like you to vote for Senius.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. By the way, I could use some self-investment.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
How would I come up with 1,000
That's
denarii?
my concern. But if you get a job, work hard, and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years?
Afraid I don't have that kind of
Very
money.
well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget? Very well. Another time.
Problem is, if I steal it, that could very well count as breaking the golden rule. But then again, someone was able to potentially commit a shopping list. So here, things to buy once I've escaped. Oh. Summary, things of list Zeus plans once he escapes. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more of these statues than we realize. It seems the old civilization that lived here is not as gone as people think. Yeah, if I steal, that's probably going to break the golden rule, and I can't afford to do that yet.
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
Oh, I don't have a weapon.
None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise. Thank you. I have to hide.
No. Maybe we shouldn't meet in there.
We don't have time for this. I have to go.
Never mind, I know I said that.
The shrine is collapsing.
Oh my. So that's why the statue said no.
Fabia, no! Oh God, she's dead! Did anyone see that? The whole shrine just collapsed on her! Oh Fabia, why did you have to go in there? Poor sweet girl! I can't believe she is dead. Fabia, I mean. She walked into that empty shrine.
I guess the shrine
and
must
next
not have
moment
been
she is
stable.
lying dead under a pile of rubble. The gods are cruel and unjust. She was like a daughter to me. I'm sorry, friend. It's not right for me to lay my burden upon you.
Statue of a woman. Greek statue, probably of the goddess for whom this temple is located. Perhaps a local Greek resident knows more about her. This temple isn't being kept in especially good shape. Painted Greek vase, some kind of battle. Yeah, this is a secret passage here. Let's be careful. We most likely are trespassing in here in some way, so... While the magistrate has officially considered us, able to go into private residences and such for investigation... Bust. Greek statue of a young boy's head. A lyre. A Greek lyre played by being strummed with a plectrum. Statue. It's likely been here a long time. Back many of these people came here within a recent period of time after the Roman fire. Great fire and... This is a long walk, sheesh. Plaque. Greek plaque translates to, the many shall suffer for the sins of one. Who are you?
Come and join me by the fire.
Who are you?
Welcome, welcome. May I ask your name? It's a sincere pleasure to meet you. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
I found this place by
Then
accident.
perhaps the fates brought you here to learn the secrets of this place. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
Not yet.
You have much to learn. It's best if you figure it out on your own. Come back once you've made progress.
If he's just gonna, I know how video games work. If I try to press him, he's just going to say, "Oh, that would break the fun," or possibly, "It's against the golden rule." Simply state it. I think this is going back the way I came. Yeah, it is. I could go back, but first, let's run through here. I was wondering if there were supposed to be enemies here, but it looks like that is not the case. Alright, character can swim, that's good to know. This door is locked. And there's appears to be what looks like a mummy in there. Nope. There is no cave behind the waterfall. And at least I know I can go here for a shortcut back to the exit. Oh, it's loading. That's why it froze a moment. The story's gonna force me to steal that thing, isn't it? I don't think there'd be any guys to fight since killing them would break the golden rule. It's possible, but what's this? Broken crockery. Looks like someone broke these on their way past. I guess this is to be a hint that you're supposed to go through this door here at some point. At the same time, though, we did find out someone did manage to do a poison murder and it didn't break the golden rule, so there's something going on here, to be sure. I'm pretty sure that... To see objective markers, you can click an icon next to it. There's no way this is going to sell it to me.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
I'm afraid I don't know.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius.
Okay, so yeah, Nero is the emperor at the current moment in the timeline.
If you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood? Thank you.
Got it.
Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place?
We're a small community of strangers who wound up here by accident.
I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
Wait, what's this mystery cult?
Don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quintius did, those days are numbered. You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret?
I'm still looking for a way out myself.
So you admit you're not allowed to leave.
It's not that we're not allowed, we physically can't.
Is not going to help you. But in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me.
You know, he actually has a really good point.
Saying the many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe?
Not all of us.
Another lie. So you really do believe that?
Okay, so we can't tell.
Fascinating. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues?
There were once people turned to gold as
Practicing
punishment.
Human sacrifice too. You people disgust me.
You're distorting what I said.
Because I'm the real villain here.
Well, to be fair, I never said any of us were innocent.
The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quintius is. Do not waste it.
What can you tell me about this Quintus
Very well.
first?
Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process.
Perhaps the Emperor was looking for a scapegoat.
Who are you to challenge what the Emperor says? Were you there?
Honestly, archaeologist evidence Nero most likely was not responsible, but the fact it was means it's entirely possible that he could have been.
Me where he is or not?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Then you're of no use to me.
I have to be ready to sprint and dodge then.
Last words?
He's not going to care about any of these, but maybe he'd care about his own honor.
And there's a simple explanation for that. I lied. But if you want to know the truth before you die, here it is. Once I'm done with you and Quintius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Yep, here we go. Oh wow, he hit me with an arrow and only took 1/4 of my HP. Follow Sentius back to the shrine and use his portal again. So the statues are coming to life. Actually, since a sin's already been made anyway, that means we can do this. Because a sin's already been made. Excellent. Dang, that guy's a really shitty shot if he hit us and we only lost a fourth of our health. Alright. Alright. Oh, that's a laser eye. Then it's entirely possible these statues are not from a previous civilization that died. They may have been the ones who put the rule in from the start. Alright, here we are. Use his portal again. Here we are. And this is the main gimmick of the game.
Naturally, friend. I'm Galer...
Actually, we've had this conversation before.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Your name's Galerius, and you're about to offer me to Senatus so you can tell me about the Golden Rule.
Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
No problem, I have to go.
Since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
Zipline, a rudimentary... Oh my.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking.
Oh, nice.
And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably. Alright, see you around.
But yeah, like I mentioned, although it is a popular theory that Nero might have been involved with the Roman fire, the historical evidence suggests that, nah. While he most definitely likely took advantage of it to get rid of his political enemies, it is unlikely that he actually caused it. What's this? See. Crap, we're not the Skyrim horse, so we can't go across these properly. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, yeah, I probably shouldn't take all my damage from falling like that. But it appears I do heal a decent chunk of my health every time I reset the time loop.
How'd you do?
How do you do?
Help! You have to...
This will prioritize a new quest showing its objective markers only.
Thank you. I have to hop.
Oh, don't go in there. Trust me.
All right,
External. Oh yeah, this shrine is in horrible condition. I don't know why she thought this would be safe. It is absolutely not. It's not going to matter for the purposes of this time loop, but at least we saved her for now.
Hello? Hello?
A prisoner here. What's your story here?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Somebody think you're going to steal?
Yes. But I wasn't. I was just looking.
That all?
They said I did it. More than once. But I can't remember things so good.
That's
Then
interesting.
they called me mean names.
How could he steal more than once and yet not have broken the golden rule? That doesn't make any
They called me a
sense.
liar, Billy.
Liability.
Yes. They said I have to live here now. And gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you... You think you could read it for me?
Well, I can apparently read Latin now, so... Magistrate Sentius to Dulius. I'm writing to you in relation to your incognito antisocial behavior arising from obsession with alleged lost treasure. While I am sympathetic to your plight, the passing of our guardian Hannibal some weeks ago, I wish to impress upon you the extent the treasure you seek does not exist. Given your memory limitations, it's likely misremembered. More importantly, since you have several occasionally been caught trespassing, including around cisterns, which are off limits to all citizens. I have recently come to the conclusion you're a liability to this community and must have your freedom limited lest you break the golden rule. It's my hope this letter will assist you to remember why you were incarcerated should you experience further lapse in memory. Alright, so Magistrate's sentence explains Dooley was locked up to prevent him from trespassing.
What does it say?
It says they caught you trespassing several times and locked you up to stop you from breaking the golden rule.
My treasure.
What treasure?
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said, if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find him. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
You're giving the key I can find where it unlocks.
Said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Let's talk to the magistrate about getting out of here.
Already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
It's somebody to magistrate then.
Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here, and I can give you the key to my treasure. Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was, just that it was way up high and very precious.
See what I can do. What do you think about golden rule?
You mean treasure?
Talk about
my
your treasure.
friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said, if he gave me this,
Oh, it's the same thing as before.
Bye-bye.
There's a few ways we can go about this, it looks like. This old scroll. An old scroll in which the author makes a case against the existence of the Golden Rule. As per custom, I begin praying my respects to the god responsible for the city. For continued prosperity and tranquil, he deserves admiration, but here I must depart from the custom for his attempt at imposing strict rules oppressive and overarching, deserving our contempt. So yeah, it seems like this person doesn't... Oopsies. Oh, I see, that's accidentally hit escape. I tried to hit escape, accidentally hit the tilde. Whoops. So I opened up the command line. Well, good to know if I ever accidentally glitch myself into a wall or need to teleport myself out, I can use that. Yeah, I definitely don't want to take that because that is stealing. Yeah. Well, we now know for a fact the statues are alive, as proven by the timeline where it just ended. Let's see here. Garum, a fermented fish sauce used as a condiment. It gives off a faint, salty aroma, and walking over the fire burns me. You'd think I would have expected that. Interesting. There's something in that room, but the statue blocks it. Which means I'll have to come back here whenever the golden rule is broken, I will need to come back here to go in there and figure out whatever was hidden. Alright, so I need to make a mental note of it. Is there a map? Graffiti, translate. Don't steal anything, don't hurt anyone, whoever wrote this didn't get a chance to finish, evidently. So yeah. When Nero's lackey came in and shot us, that counted as an assault. This child was trying to grab that apple when they got turned into gold. Ah, here we are. I can't seem to scale this wall. Darn it, and I don't think mounts exist in this game, so I can't Skyrim horse it. And I can't help but notice that little alcove, that cove there, it's beneath an overhang, so I can't just jump up to it from a higher point. He watches through their eyes. Does this mean that sins only count if they're seen from the statues? We know that there's a lot more of the statues than simply sitting here and looking pretty or being a remnant of the failed groups. This building is collapsed. Hey, a bartender.
Handsome.
Hello, Auriella.
Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before. A certain learning and sophistication.
Summon Skyrim Horse 1. Yeah, that would make it pretty easy, wouldn't it? I think I mentioned before, but this game, apparently this game originally started as a Skyrim mod, but it eventually got popular enough they were able to make it on their own. So there are some familiar elements in here to be sure, but there's definitely a lot of interesting stuff in here as well. Some real intrigue. And I'm gonna take a moment to get a drink. One moment, please. There's a lot of dialogue in here, but at least it's mostly voice acted this time, so I won't be drying out my throat like during Zodiac Trial or The Burden of Proof. Alright, she wants to flirt, let's flirt with her.
Coming on a bit strong, don't you think?
Oh. Hey, you came on to me!
I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing anymore. Let's just forget that ever happened.
A smooth
so
talker, achievement earned.
So, what brings you to my tavern?
Alright, first thing forward, what's your story?
Let it go. Nothing's going to happen between us.
What do you think of the Golden Rule?
I just try not to think about it. Drink helps with that. As the saying goes, to drink is human, so we drink.
Well, there's a saying that, beer is proof that God loves us and wants to be happy. Or was it, wait, was it wine or beer? I genuinely don't remember. But it was in some form for Civilization game, so I imagine it was some historical statement, because those guys love history. Sometimes to a bit too heavy of a degree, but... Beer is horrible, it's probably wine. Yeah, I find beer too bitter the most of the time, honestly. And even with wine, I don't really have it too often. Usually I just stick to soda and water most of the time. You're an interesting, useful gossip
Certainly.
lately.
For 10 denarii.
Talk about something else.
Whatever you like. All right. See ya.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
I don't know, Medea's over. Her tears run the city. I'd take a I think this is a drinking fountain, so.
The 49 Belades fetch again with incessant labor the water they have lost.
Let's ask Livia.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
What's your story?
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives.
I have no idea what that means.
They never do.
Interesting. What do you think of the golden
The
rule?
bloodless shadows. This is their punishment.
Honestly, I think this actually makes a lot more sense. The people are all bloodless. The people who live here are all bloodless shadows. I think this seen this lady in real life before. Possibly. She seems to be. The fact that it was specifically referencing Medea, one of the most famous Greek witches in Greek lore, her probably meant to be. She's probably supposed to look like an old crone. I think I actually understand this. The bloodless shadows are the people who live here, and their punishment, the fact that the golden rule is going to be broken eventually, sooner or later.
There is only a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, basically saying the only way out of here is through hell.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh, some the house of the ruler of the depths. The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly coherent. So I think there is some meaning to her words. It's not that she has any kind of problem, it's that, examine. Fermented fish. Voracious chest. This is owned. A type of ancient Roman shield known as a scotum. I see. Banner. A legionary banner from the first Italica. This belongs to Horatius. Produce bowl. Carrots are purple, as they were before the modern orange words were cultivated. Yeah, for anyone who's unaware...
Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern.
Graffiti. Let the buyer beware. Yeah, I was gonna say, for anyone who's unaware, carrots are naturally purple. They were just made orange because of, basically people into messing with them. Incomplete note. An incomplete note written to a sinner. This is your final warning. Okay, so if it's red, that's explicitly stating this is owned. Note from Kabosh. A dream diary from Kabosh in which he describes his recurring dreams about a stranger. I told Lucretia about the dreams I've been having, and she said it might help her divine their meaning if I wrote them down. It happened again last night. The man by the river was there, as always, his face shrouded in shadow from my ram headdress. Once again, he introduced himself as Carity and told me he dragged me from the river. He seemed to smirk as he said my name, as if it meant something I could not understand. Indeed, the name rings a bell, but I cannot for the life of me remember where I heard it. I do not think I'll sleep soundly until I know who is Carity. Carving of a lion. It looks Egyptian. So yeah, these statues are absolutely alive, and they're the key. But how?
Vote for Malleolus for a free drink at my tavern.
I imagine a potential ending is getting one of the other magistrates to win, and it looks like Malleolus is in pretty good position to be winning. Alright, since this isn't owned, we should theoretically be able to take all these. Possibly the last bottle of wine in the city. Since we're on a time loop, I wonder if we're allowed to stack as many of those as we can find, or if we come back here and it won't be here again.
Fresh meat, huh?
Who are you?
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me.
Why are you just a gladiator?
Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why.
Okay, that's fair enough. You know a way out of here?
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah, this place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
Oh, how's he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Oh, why can't you tell me
Because
now?
if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
That makes sense. Even if he can trust me with it, there's no guarantee others won't overhear it. Alright, can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
Who are you gonna vote for?
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
It seems that's the main point of contention people have.
Whatever.
Just remember, I'll be watching. Looks like we have a few people here.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
Hello, stranger. Who are you?
A new face. Arve, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from.
Yes.
I suppose it's quite charming in its own way.
No need to beat around the
Usually,
bush.
however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Sorry, what should I have done
The
here?
proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is.
Yeah.
So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
A lack of red tape would be rather useful, yes. First things first, what's a Vestal priestess?
You really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses, charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta burning. I take it you know who Vesta is?
Reminding me.
Vesta is the mother goddess of hearth and home, and the guardian of the Roman people.
Makes sense. What do you do here?
Put simply, I tend to the temples, ensure their sanctity is preserved.
There used to be a Roman fast food place called Thermopolia where they'd serve food like snails. You could say it's escargot on the go. That sounds like a real dad joke. I'll have to remember that then. Ah, what's that?
Why? So that we continue to honor our gods, invite their blessings, and not bring their wrath down upon us, of course.
True, the Greek/Roman gods are pretty whimsy.
And remain in their good graces.
How'd you end up here?
No, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river unconscious and sent me here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
It's an older name, but not uncommon from where I'm from.
I see.
Yeah, I think she's realizing we must be from another time.
No.
What are you gonna say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
I'll do that.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
What happened to Livia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her.
Well, the Golden Rule does seem pretty oppressive.
There's a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you.
And so she could have learned something that wasn't meant to be known. May have already noticed a pattern there.
Then what is it?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
That's all.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
Right, yeah. What do you think of the Golden
I'm
Rule
quite
yourself?
Sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Why not? I have time.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants.
The travelers.
They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all.
Understandable on
Until
both
finally
ends,
they
really.
come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay.
That was nice of them.
Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately, the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They
So Zeus and
they
Hermes.
didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish.
Oh my.
So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map.
Oh my.
Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
Yeah. It could also be the gods might kill you at any moment for failing the test, and they don't even have to tell you what the rules are.
A cynic philosopher might take that view, but it's not entirely invalid, I suppose.
What's the status of the
It must
election?
be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
Who's allowed to
All
vote?
of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course.
The woman can't vote.
That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me, either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself, but in this case, given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent, but if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such as?
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
So a silver tongue works.
All of the
Can I vote with you?
Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not.
A shame.
If it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
What's your role in
I'm
it?
responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can I nominate a candidate?
Assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination. Certainly.
Is there a way out of
I
here?
don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
One way or another.
And did you notice anything? Come back.
Looks like people are wandering about the town, but I can't quite tell if there's actually a clock time passing. She weeps where water flows. An alleyway. Doesn't appear to be anything here. At least I've got some spending money. The toilets. Communal public toilets. These holes must be designed for use with that sponge on a stick. Oh dang, what a way to go on the toilet. Always remember they're watching.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Oh, so he's using the statue. Yeah, like you said, he's using the statues as mannequins. Oh, when in Rome.
Salve.
Shh, I'm hiding.
Alright, well, as long as Fabia's safe. I can't deal with that guy until I learn how I can deal with him. Locked. Fountain producing fresh water, but where could this water be coming from? She turned to gold, but the pot did not. Interesting. Seek a bow. Okay, so that's not stealing because it wasn't marked in red. Oh, yeah, note to self, don't step on fire. You'd think that'd be a little obvious. Yourself in, don't follow me. Nothing good will come of it, Navia. Whatever Navia... So it looks like Navia's still alive in there at the very least. Because we can hear something being done back there, but what is she doing? Smashing the statues? Alright, so in order to get a bow, I need to talk down the assassin, or at the very least, get him to leave himself vulnerable so he can be jumped. Alright, yeah, I can take that. I speak with their tongues. There's a lot of ominous whispering here, but it's the only thing that I have to guide me. Oh man, is this guy a Sisyphus? Did we discover Sisyphus and his constant rolling a boulder up a hill only for it to roll down near the end and start him again? Doesn't appear to be a very large city, but there's a lot in it. Well, I don't mind. A small location packed with stuff that goes on within it is better than a wide open map with nothing in it.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
Not a bit on edge.
That's good, in a sense. If you're not on edge, you've not been paying attention. But on the bright side, once you've been here a few months, it's slightly less terrifying anyway. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned.
What's your story, then?
Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose.
How'd you end up here?
Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome, 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me.
Huh. Don't you mean the gods?
Yes, of course. A slip of the tongue.
Oh, so she's not Roman. She's one of the Christians that was scheduled to be crucified, no doubt.
If you like.
No way
I'm afraid not. Although, I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumors, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then I suppose we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate.
Thanks.
I hope it works out.
What do you think of the Golden Rule?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves, and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin. And that's where I get stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin?
I don't know. Some people might be phenomenally good.
A little naive? I suppose you've never seen what I've seen. Innocent men and women, torn apart in arenas while thousands
Yeah,
of Romans look
they're
on.
really laying it thick.
If that's true, then sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here. Unless, of course, there's some kind of divine intervention.
Oh, this is gonna be an intervention, alright.
I wish I shared your faith.
So you're one of the Christians.
Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here, but things are very difficult for us right now. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible.
So you could save with me.
Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
Oh dear.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him.
Oh, I'm not qualified for this. Do I think he'll break the golden rule?
I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off.
It's not good.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Fortunately. Opus, can we talk?
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire.
I was gonna ask you what's wrong, actually.
Screwed up my life. That's what's wrong. I borrowed money, and when I couldn't pay it back, I wound up in debt bondage. I'll be stuck slaving away for that Culus Cumulatis Malleolus for the rest of my life. I'm out. Wherever you are, Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
So, so Opus was Scintilla's lover.
I can't believe he went through with it. Oh Lord. That poor lamb.
His actions didn't break the golden rule. What does that mean?
I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the golden rule. So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for it. It isn't mine.
Was that my
was
fault?
not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived.
Yeah, she's got a point. But what's important is we found out the mysterious lover. He asked for a debt he couldn't repay. It's entirely possible that that was tied to either trying to elope with Scintilla or that he was trying to find her and couldn't pay it back. Interesting, interesting. And unfortunately, she is correct. She is correct. If her god had put the golden rule, then self-deletion would absolutely count as a sin. So at the very least, we can at least cross one deity that did not put this... We can at least cross the one deity off the list of potential suspects for the ones who created this rule.
I'll
What
have
happens
to let
now?
everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Self-deletion. Yeah, unfortunately, because these are going on YouTube, you can't use that word specifically. What is that whisper doing? Do I want to listen to these voices in my head? Welp. Why not?
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes, thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now...
Note from Ulpus. Ulpus, to his lost love, may God watch over you. Please know that I held long as I could. Without you, my life is meaningless. I can only hope we meet. God, Eden. Yeah, I was wondering if my character dying also resets the loop, or if I have to manually go the time warp each time. I'm guessing I do have to go the time warp because this isn't like some of the other time loop games. In this case, it's specifically a ritual and a location that causes the time loop to happen. It's not upon death or leaving the given area. Opus laments his lost love. Oh, there's another page. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, because he... Okay, I get it. Because he jumped from all the way up there, he broke down there into that hole, and that's how... created a place for me to survive. No, Familia. You will live to her captors, Malleus and Claudia, curse you the depths. By the time I read this, I'll already be... Oh! Because death is preferable to another day in bondage. May vultures peck out your Tartarus. Oh, so she did poison herself. Here's a great base.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and...
Yeah, I think that's Malleolus, the man of the hour.
Leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above? That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever.
We'll call it both.
Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me? I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today.
Oh, yes. Oh! Remember, that mysterious assassin mentioned he was looking for a man in his 40s or 50s with 2 different colored eyes. What'll you do if you win?
I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to this city, just as I... Good people have suffered long enough under Sentius's tyranny.
Oh, how are you going to do that?
By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie?
What makes you so sure it's not real?
The person making a claim bears the onus of proving that claim. Can you do that? Can you prove the Golden Rule is real?
It's definitely real.
Nonsense! There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already.
What would it take for you to prove? What will it take to prove it?
Sure,
Books, notes?
You're not one of those people who believes everything you read. As if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it down.
I don't think he, it's possible he most likely found a book, overwrote it. Nah.
True, but that is simply because you are mistaken.
No way out of here?
I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it.
What do you think of the Golden Rule?
You mean the children's fable exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants? I trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time. There's a key just beside it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for Malleus to be doubting it because it's very difficult to prove without everyone dying. But at the same time, he also does have a benefit because if it turns out he's wrong and the Golden Rule is real, nobody's going to be alive to complain about it to him anyways.
still here.
Florarium, a small household shrine where ancient Romans offered daily prayers for protection. Ink jar. Ceramic ink jar. The ink appears to be made from soot and water. Stove. No doubt unpleasant cooking with such poor ventilation, but Romans probably regard that as their servant's problem. Viciola. Nothing in here. Oh. Key to the villa. Alright, let's see what we can find in here. Priestess. Note to Octavia. An anonymous friend to Octavia. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And I'm sorry I could not risk discussing this with you in person, but if I'm right, then you're a believer like me. You may not be able to worship openly, but know you're not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep behind the caves of the theater. Turn right at the first fork, again at the second. Directions secret shine, enter the caves beneath the theater, turn around. Yeah, I'm... Oh, bust. Sculpture of Minerva, Roman goddess of strategy. Yeah, the game... Since the game focuses on a time loop, you can either solve it extremely quickly or extremely long, depending on how much you explore. And I have no idea, honestly, no idea which I'm going to be doing. Yeah, so I'd best not rush. Alright, we know Maladaeus is the one the assassin wants, so...
Stop right there. I'm looking for time.
Yeah, somewhere should be a small round shrine inside the city. Second building on your left.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now.
Alright, so I can go through here. She will guide you. Oh, this is one of the areas where I first came in here, wasn't it? Yes. It's the pool before it fell to ruin. It doesn't matter. Alright, I'm pretty sure I don't know. I'm pretty sure. When I went in this game, all I knew is that it was going to revolve around a time loop, so it should be interesting to see. Oh, yeah, whenever it freezes like that, that means it's loading. So this is basically the area where I first came in. we are.
Olave again. Did you find what you... And did you notice anything?
So the Roman fire is all connected. Priestess, she will guide you.
Sometimes
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Use Sentius. He's running the shrine to activate his sacrifice. Death arrives, be one thing dread. It could remain with you, but dead must either not come at all or must come and pass away. Alright, here we go. Portal time. Good luck with not breaking Golden Rule, Assassin. Yes, we can get him away from that area, but it seems... Oh crap, I only healed a little. Trying to use his portal again.
Salve, friend.
Looks like we've just taken on Gladiator and lost.
I don't?
Oh, I see, I'm slowly healing. Presumably that happens anytime I go through the portal, because I know my health doesn't restore normally. Yeah.
I love your clothes. So exotic.
Cavalry helmet. An ancient Roman cavalry helmet with an enclosed face mask with a plume of dyed horsehair. Prototype. Looks like someone's been hard at work on a prototype zipline. Theophilus had an orgy with 4 and disappointed all of them equally. Metal dice tower designed to stop people from cheating when rolling dice. Clearly, cheating must be a problem among Romans. But that's owned, so that'd be stealing if I do that. Doll. Rudimentary doll. Looks like it's been well loved. Key of the chest in the Shrine of Apollo. It doesn't count as stealing. I guess since she has abandoned her home, she gave up her items too. Or at least that's why it counts. Herb rack. Wooden rack containing various dried ground substances. I was wondering why we weren't allowed to lie to the assassin right away.
Lifts his dribble head and lets out his threefold braying.
She looks busy.
Lydia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron and scare away my customers?
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, but it does not know.
Pattern you saw.
You think you wish to know, but you do not.
That was the most coherent thing
It
she
is better
said.
for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more.
Figure out why Livia's acting strangely. Hello, Zippy. Welcome to stream. Salve, my friend. Yes.
The newly arrived.
Yeah, the fact Livia went from her usual speaking to that perfectly coherent, and means that she knows what she's talking about. Although I guess that was pretty obvious when it was mentioned. Oh crap, that's right. I need to come back here after the law is broken to get in there. I need to remember this area. But yeah, it seems like there's a ticking timer until the laws are broken, so I need to act fast. But first, I might be able to engineer a situation for this.
Help! Thank.
Wait, don't go in there. Trust me. In her bakery. Alright, she's safe. We know she's actually safe in here because this place isn't falling apart in the most literal sense possible. Oh, I know what we're supposed to do. If this fails, I'll do the reset, but if not... Small round shrine, second building on your left. Since we know that building is going to collapse due to structural issues, well, that's going to solve our problem without counting... Well, it might count as breaking the golden rule, so let's be very careful about this. But I don't think it will, because technically that was an accident. Although, by sending him here when we know it breaks, that could be argued as an assassination. Here we are. Figure out how to neutralize the army. Found finally craft. I'll take that, thank you, since the original owner doesn't care. By order of Emperor Nero, all loyal sons of Rome are ordered to hunt and execute the arsonist and murder Tiberius Crispus, citizen of Avenue District of Rome. He's about 40-50 years old, average height, has dark hair, and has one green and one blue eye. He's typically clean-shaven. He is known to associate of cultists and suffers from delusions of grandeur. I can leave this, I think. But, fletched arrow. That I want to take, and this I want to take. Just one, eh? That's fine. I don't need the assassination order. Obviously. Warning. Shrine may collapse at any moment. Beware. Okay, so it was known that it was going to collapse. Okay, so that didn't count as breaking. Not my fault he died, the building killed him. Indeed. Technically, we orchestrated this by luring him in there, but... Well, we had no way of knowing that. Wait against the current.
You there! I'm sorry to trouble you, but I had no idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear... And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
Go on.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
The statues come to life and fire golden arrows at them. No.
Well, between you and me, I found an old scroll from years ago, hastily written, in which the author claimed something extraordinary and terrifying. He wrote that when the golden rule is broken, statues spring to life all over the city, wielding golden bows and begin firing golden arrows at the inhabitants. Supposedly, one or two of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of the tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a cautionary tale.
For that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
Brutally
Oh,
unethical.
I'm not suggesting we use such a bow on people. There's no profit in breaking the golden rule.
In that case, go
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Not really.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
A golden bow?
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what.
You want me to steal it?
Gods, no. If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will
This is
lead.
likely going to break the
In
golden
my
rule,
experience,
but...
all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
Alright, why can't I just
Because
take
the
it?
gods would see you, of course. Hence, my proposal.
Why can't you do it?
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you. When
Isn't that extremely
Prometheus stole
dangerous?
fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
Prometheus was also punished for eternity. He, if I recall...
Only because he was silly enough to get caught. So, are you in, partner?
If you don't like action or horror, feel free to decline. That'll do.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow.
Fake golden bow, a composite covered in gold leaf.
Now, I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Oh, may they not watch over you.
You
Took care of him.
took care of him?
He had a tragic accident in the shrine.
Accident? So, it's over?
To the very least, knowingly
Such a
sending...
relief. I really thought we were all going to die. I do have a question though. That shrine, the one I was going to hide in, did you know it was going to collapse?
Yes. If I said yes, I'd be admitting to murder.
Oh, I see. I should probably keep my big mouth shut then.
Yeah.
Sorry. I promise, nobody else will ever know what you did. But I know. That was really clever.
Okay, so knowingly sending someone to their death is technically not classified as the murder here.
Welcome. I'm Fabia. Sorry I was a bit frantic before. Need
At least we can
anything?
finally talk to her normally. What's your story?
There's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
Imagine up here.
I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing.
Terrible
My
timing
pa had
indeed.
just arranged a husband for me. A fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
I thought most of the others were in Rome before they woke up in the forest, but you're saying that you were a day's ride away?
I suppose you're right. Hadn't really thought about it. But the gods are mysterious and powerful. Who knows what their plans are for us?
Interesting. I think you profit from the Midas touch easily. Do a favor for Dionysus, ask him to make everything the pinky toe on your non-dominant foot touches gold. Wait, I forgot shoes and socks. Never mind. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, unfortunately making any part of your body is going to make whatever clothing there touch, because the Midas touch absolutely does not discriminate. Living, non-living, any material it comes in contact with becomes gold. I don't suppose you know a way out of here, do you?
You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables. And Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes. And Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days.
I guess, but I don't belong here.
Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it?
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
Like your optimism.
Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the
Oh, but tell him to enchant to stick with the Midas touch, but only the pointed side. That's more or less what our buddy, Denarius is attempting to do with the bow.
Alright. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
She seems to be the most optimistic person here, which also... This does mean she stands out, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's suspicious. Stone mill looks like flour and grain are poured in from above. The handles are then rotated.
Salve.
Shrine of Diana. There's a lot of flies in here. What the? Oh! That's a beehive. Inventory, flashlight, inscribed tablet. Whoever reads this... Oh yeah, that's from our buddy at the start. Okay, so I do keep items between, timelines here. Diana, ancient Roman goddess of the moon, hunts moon and underworld. She's the equivalent of Artemis. She's most likely the same person of Artemis, actually.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I can't open that. I think I might have just game overed. Continue from last save. Unfortunately, this is an auto-save, so... It's loading, I guess. Oh, okay, that's yours. She weeps where the water flows.
Greetings and salutations.
You... and... I suppose... What? Wait, oh. He'll be... Alright.
Dinar is the name of the Roman currency. It's Decius. Yeah. Sorry, I got that wrong. I guess the currency is what threw me off. But to be fair, his name seems to be similar, and since he's obsessed with money, I guess I mistook him as the same. If I want to burn that, I should fire through the brazier, right? That way it catches fire and goes in there. Use the filtering desperate prayer. Clearly it fell on deaf ears. Yeah, someone locked the door behind me. Which means I have to solve this puzzle or I can't leave. Swap out the fake, vote for the real one. How do I leave?
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow?
Yes, I have it.
Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me.
I knew I shouldn't trust you.
You did. And now, here we...
How is this not against the golden rule?
No, technically, it's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it?
Nope, it's not Zelda. How can I trust if you double-cross me like this?
Take your chances, I'm afraid. The bow, now. And don't even think about giving me the fake one. I'll recognise my own handiwork.
Even if I gave it to you, you're just gonna leave me in there.
I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders. You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man, but I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out if they were right, shall we?
Oh, I have 10 arrows now. The nest. The statues are giving me a hint. Oh, because it turned them all into gold. Ah, so this isn't an ordinary... Oh, wow. Someone didn't have a good time down here. Sponge stick. A small stick with a sponge attached. This must be what the Romans used to have toilet paper. It appears to be for communal use. Best to put this back immediately. Achievement unlocked. Unhygienic. The algae. Oh, by turning the algae into gold. I can fire into water, it seems. Golden Archer. Tempting to me to make a Fate reference, but I probably should limit that. It already took all my willpower to not make an Umu at the Nero order. But we have ourselves a new tool. And this guy got crushed. Probably should join him. Navariant's journal.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me, a rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to
So I'm not the only one who can hear the statues.
Concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and, disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on...
Oh, so these statues, they're still alive in those statues. It was well, I guess that should have been obvious, because they do come to life when forced to act, but dang.
It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
Is that her, then? Space and W? No, I can't seem to... So whatever God's responsible for this, they're forcing everyone who fails before to be agents of whoever fails it after. Since these are free to take, no reason not to. The good old Midas touch. It's become a ladder. Here we are, loading. Find a way into the palace. Well, we've found our way in here. Lead resolved behind closed doors. Might as well take as many arrows as I can get. These are probably going to be the key. Alright, it won't work because she's already gold. Oh crap, I ran out of health. Here's even last save. Is that going to be all the way back at... Alright, yes. They auto-saved here because they knew people would be dying often.
You're not supposed to be here.
Coin pouch. Damn it. Alright, so I now know what I need to do here, so let's just continue last save. Even if it's right at the opening of the palace, but somebody knows. Oops. But there is something in there. This is probably going to be a little annoying, so I need to be careful. Well, that's where I came from. Oh my, okay, so I do have regenerating health in this game. Well, it's not a big deal. This is mostly a story-based affair, so... Come on, I'm stuck. Alright, let's try this again. Keep getting stuck on that thing. Alright, I need to go up, not down. Oh, I can just shoot these guys directly. It didn't work before. I guess because they were a peeled statue, and these are proper skeletal statues. guess they just have health. Although now that it's safe, I can probably go in here. What were they protecting that was so important? Arrow, Denarius. Ah, so there's another path up here. Good. Well, at least I've got a nice supply of arrows. Okay, so yeah, they do have health. I just needed to, hit them enough times. That's why it seemed like it wasn't working at first. Yeah, that's the other courtyard. More fletched arrows, don't mind if I do. Rack. This is a little custom-made rack that's been used to hold down the gold statues and peel golden layer from them. Gruesome. Key to the palace doors.
My beloved Galatea, after I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman
I see, that's...
I have ever known.
And Navia was the person who was saying we shouldn't be here, and she's the reason these statues are able to move, because she peeled all the gold off, but it's making them suffer.
To free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work.
I guess this counts as public use. one got out. Oh, never mind. Davey, we just discovered the truth. Oh, I should probably stand back here. Yeah, we found out Nevia here has been trying to peel the statues to get to the people behind them, but in doing so, they've been reduced to grotesque husks, who, from the dialogue, seem to be suffering from the state. They're not supposed to be released from their prison early. Oopsie. Be able to climb back up though, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this just goes back to where I was. They remind me of the meat carcass from William Afton in Springtrap. I guess I can kind of see where you're going with that, yeah. Nice of people to be leaving arrows behind. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm stuck. Yeah, I got stuck. Here we go.
Help us.
Oh, I see. I need to lure them all in there. It's gonna be a lot harder now. Not the cleanest victory, but I'll take it. Any drawers to look through here? Nivea's journal level 3.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan.
Thinking the Michael Don't Leave Me Here me.
Woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath,
Ooh.
and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodami to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place.
Okay, so it seems Naevia is not the one who breaks the golden rule eventually. Because it seems everyone who's locked in these statues are already marked as sinners and lost. So the gods don't care about anything that happens to them. That's a good set piece there. Honestly, I could have knocked that over to distract them. Or use these to turn them all without having to waste arrows. I did miss over here. Is my arrow around here? Well, I have so many spare, it probably doesn't matter. Still sucks, though. Peeled statue, demented laughter. Oh dang, she completely stripped these statues down. Dang, all this horrid mad science. And yeah, this didn't count as breaking the golden rule. Half-peeled statue. Whispering me through the statue somehow. Who are you? Ah! You must be Naevia.
You must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And, worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that.
This has nothing to do with me and you know
Liar.
it.
I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face, to hear her speak freely, instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me. And now I discover she started whispering to you instead. What's so special about you?
It's not just the statues, a lot of them, but it's always the same
What do you
voice.
mean, the same voice?
It's like someone else is whispering me through the statues.
Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices sound the same when they whisper. But now that I think about it, they were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And everything I've done here was
nothing.
Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in? Is that it?
She's not gonna believe me no matter what I say. That's crazy
Liar.
talk.
You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you too.
So I ended up here by accident. All I want to do is leave.
What are you talking about?
I got trapped in the tunnels under the city and came up on the palace.
So you're saying you weren't coming for us?
I never had any intention
So
of hurting
I did
you.
all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh God, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. And in so much pain. It's the air. Coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut.
Wait, I can undo all this. Tell me the treatment for
It's
rheumatism.
too late. There's nothing you can do. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
I can wind back in time and make sure I never came here.
Wind back time? What are you talking about?
Are we living the same day? I don't think she's gonna believe me, but I just need to get back to the shrine to pause repeat.
Goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. Of course. But I'm confused. If you've harnessed the secrets of the gods, why tell me?
You'll never remember this
I see.
conversation.
Well, I'll trust you to honor our bargain. But if you don't, mark my words. I'll break the golden rule and kill you and everyone else in this city. The treatment for rheumatism is willow bark. I believe there's a pot of it already in the Shrine of Apollo. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there.
Okay, goodbye.
Go, and never return.
Galatea. Alright, so that's more or less the dungeon. Survivor. Ride the zip line. Late resolved. The gilding. Alright, well, we've made quite a bit of progress here, but it's been about 3.5 hours, so I think this will be a good time to stop it. Well, we've already learned quite a bit about the city and the gold, but while she does promise that she'll break the golden rule if she's forced to, we also know that she was continuing her experiments on her own and only began accelerating them once she saw that we had snuck into the palace somehow, so it doesn't seem like she's the one we're looking for. but we have our medicines and all that. So next time we're going to be helping the not a physician help act as a proper physician to heal people and hopefully find out some more. And I guess I should have known from the start that we shouldn't have trusted that guy, but oh well. Alright, until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.